Hi everyone, and welcome to day 27 of the 30 days drawing challenge for complete and utter beginners. Hopefully you've watched some of the previous days, so some of this won't be entirely new to you, but we are going to be drawing a maze using 2-point perspective. And to do that, we're going to very quickly draw 2 points on our horizon line, and then cross them over using 2 lines on each side just to draw our basic box shape. So once we've got the foundational level, we're going to do 1 short horizontal line, connect those up with our 2 points. That's going to create new intersects, like you can see. We're going to create 2 more lines for that, and that's going to show us our basic shape of where the maze is going to be. And I do have to specify this is going to be a simple maze, because if it was complicated, I'd honestly get lost with all the lines. But to help with the lines, we're going to do this very basic top level plan, and I'm just going to draw some random lines to show us what the maze is going to look like. Now, is it technically a maze if you can't get lost in it? I mean, I don't know, but I haven't got a lot of space to work with, so it's going to be extremely simple. So this is going to be our box. I'm just going to make things a bit less busy, like so. And what we're going to do to create guidelines, much like when we did our building with 2-point perspective earlier, we're going to create all of these guidelines using our perspective lines from both sides to give us kind of this 3D grid effect, and that's going to tell us where we can start sculpting out of this box. And much like a lot of our drawings, it's all about sculpting and just chiseling away at a simple object. So looking at the guide at the top, I'm just going to match each one of these lines with the lines above. So this is simple enough. And all I'm going to do after I've produced all of these lines is I'm going to widen them a bit by taking middle points of other lines, so it actually looks like a gap and not just a thin line across the top of this box. So that kind of looks similar. It's not very complicated, and it's the easiest maze in the world, but we're just doing this to practice our drawing, so it doesn't really matter. So a large part of this is only drawing things that we would technically be able to see. So that small box at the very front is going to be part of the actual wall. This is going to be a bit of a middle point that we should be able to see, and the bits that I've left out, they are going to be our entrance and exit. And there is the outside of the pizza box. So I'm going to be attempting to do the midpoints to actually give us some walking space in our maze. And apologies for all my other videos, but if I don't zoom in enough, maybe I should, because I realise that some of you are going to be viewing on your phone and not from a tablet. But this is going to be a bit awkward because it gets really thin at points, but we're just going to guide over the lines, remove the guideline in the center just to make things a bit simpler to follow. And you're really going to try and make some of these lines parallel to the guidelines that we drew earlier, something that I did not do, but I'm hoping you're able to learn from my mistakes. going to add a bit of complexity over there. And just to make it look a bit more realistic, we're going to be doing these downwards vertical lines to show a bit of depth, like you would actually have in a proper maze. So it actually looks like things are being cut out of this box. So feel free to play around and just mess with it a bit, because it's a drawing exercise, you're not actually creating a maze. But that's about it. There's our maze. All we can do now is decrease the opacity and really refine our drawing. So I am just going to be drawing everything that we should be able to see, and it's going to be a lot easier now that we've created this 3D structure and not just a wiggly line on the top of a pizza box. So there we have the outside of our box, and after we've highlighted all of these walls, we're just going to be adding a bit of texture using shading. But honestly, even though it looks incredibly rough, I think it fits the bill. It's, again, the easiest maze in the world, but it's still a maze, and we're still creating something using our imagination. And yes, at the end of this, it will still be very basic, but this could easily be built on using different coloring tools and better shading. And honestly, all these lessons, what they're really about is just getting this foundational technique. Something to build on. We're all beginners here. We've never really done anything like this before. It's just giving us these very basic skills and hopefully confidence to do more complicated works. But there we have it. I'm just going to draw some more lines to show that it's not infinitely tall. Looking at this without guidelines looks a bit horrible, so I'm going to keep them in. But yeah, we're just going to add a bit of shading, just so we're able to see the difference between walls a bit more. Add some floor using more parallel lines. And that's more or less it. All the walls facing one direction, I'm going to use the same strength of shading, just for a bit of consistency. And some light shading there. But there is our teeny tiny labyrinth. We're almost at the end of our 30 days now, so I hope everyone's getting a lot more confident. And please, if you made it to the end of this video, let me know what I should do in February. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope you were able to learn something, and I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you, and goodbye.